All right. Well, my sources tell me we're live. My producer in the booth has just come in over the comms and told me that we are live right now. And
the on-air light is flashing.
Cue applause. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show about the Tandy Color Computer. And I think this is number 17. I lost track.
I believe so, yeah.
And the main focus of today's episode is what you're seeing right here on the screen, which we'll be talking about today. But it's Rick Adams' bomb threat, and we have Rick Adams here with us. How are you today, Rick? And so not only do we have Rick Adams, but we have Jay Searle, who was with us last week talking about MAME and MES and assembly and debugging. And we've got Mark Overholser, we've got Rick Cavell, we have Bill Nobel, and the lovely and talented Curtis Boyle. How are we, gentlemen?
Good. Very good. Real good.
Yeah. And we're live on the internet, and Davey Mitchell has been with us. Hello, Davey. Davey was actually here before the live stream even started. So thanks, Davey, for being here, for tuning in early. And for that, you get a prize. I don't know what that prize is just yet, but we'll figure it out. So,
how about some applause?
Yeah, a round of applause, and 1 month free access to Curtis Boyle's Games List website. That's
Hey, quit cutting my profits here.
And if you head over to nitrous9.org, a free download of Nitrous 9 as well. So. Which is something that we will be doing in the near future. I just did not have time to plan for that for this week. But we got something.
I did not either, so
we have something more exciting than Nitrous 9 to talk about this week, and that's bomb threat. But before we get into bomb threat, why don't we start our little segment of how was your week this week and what's new and exciting and all that good stuff. Anybody want to kick that off?
To quote Mel Brooks, it's like work. That's all I've been doing.
Right.
I can relate.
I'm still recovering from killing my laptop.
Okay. Richard
Lorbieski
is here.
Memory for my new laptop today to make up for the fact that it only has 4 gig.
Nice. Should be able to compile a program or two with that 16 gigs, huh?
Oh, yeah. Although all my color computer development now is done on the Raspberry Pi. So.
That is it. So explain that. What is it that you're doing to actually develop on the Raspberry Pi?
Well, they have a cross assembler, and they have, I have a make file, and, it's just a development environment. And that's what I use to build the new version of Bomb Threat that I gave you today.
Okay.
So that's all done with MAME then, I'm guessing, on the Pi?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Richard, it's not on the Skype channel. You just need to call me directly if you want to be on the call. That's cool. I'd like maybe sometime for a future segment you could show us what that looks like. What the how do you actually do it? I can't quite grasp it yet because I can't really see it right now. Okay, so now somebody's saying MAME is a little loud. So here's what I'm going to do. I
would just mute it until you're ready to show it.
Well,
because it is drowning out the voices sometimes.
It goes in waves.
Okay, so right now bomb threat is muted. Okay. And
it's less threatening now.
Richard Lorbieski has now joined us. Hey, Richard, how are you? Yes, I'd like to see that sometime. Maybe for a future segment, you could show us what that looks like.
Well, unfortunately, you can't really Skype from a Raspberry Pi, so I'm not exactly sure how I would do that.
Okay.
Linux version when it works.
Maybe point a camera. So, are you running something like LW Tools on the Raspberry Pi?
Yes.
Okay. So you're running
LW Tools. It's kind of similar to what we looked at last week, then I guess the basic, although in Linux, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are you doing it through a GUI, or are you doing more like shell scripting type command stuff?
It's all command line.
Okay. Well, that is interesting.
And
that's
my text editor is good old BI on Unix.
Okay.
Which
what?
Is
no Emacs?
Ancient. Nope, no Emacs. It's ancient, and
that's the Linux battle, right? BI and Emacs.
Yep.
Well, at least you're not
Amazing how
using
these things
Edlin.
come about.
Edlin. I remember Edlin back in the days of DOS.
Edwin, yes.
Mark, you put up a picture in our Skype group of some doodaddies you ordered online.
Yeah, those were the ones what's his name?
Steve Bjork?
Yeah, Steve Bjork mentioned.
Okay, and these are the things that are like, basically they can play a WAV file or a MIDI file or something like that.
MP3 player.
MP3 player.
Yeah, that can be controlled by an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi or anything.
That's cool. That's cool.
For a CoCo?
I noticed that too. Richard, who joined us, you put something in the Facebook group recently. You're working on some CoCo restoration stuff. You got some CoCo 2s you picked up that you're modding and tweaking and stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm still working on those. I'm just I finally got all the capacitors in, and so I'm just working those and then cleaning up the cases, and gonna sell those on eBay.
Are you coming to Tandy Assembly by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very cool. Are you listed as an exhibitor in there?
Yes, I am. I will be an exhibitor, and I will probably also be a sponsor.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah, so my CoCo 3 just died on me today. The one I have been using is my Neil Blanchard Special. I'm going to see what I can do to troubleshoot it in my spare time. But yeah, so I might have to end up bringing one or more CoCos to Tandy Assembly to even get them fixed before I can even show off what I want to show off. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, that was my highlight of today. I wanted to demonstrate bomb threat on a real color computer, and I was going to do it on a CoCo 3. And in the process of messing around, my CoCo 3 just died on me. So good times. But so I will share with you guys something that's new for me, and I put up some pictures of this on Facebook, but we got this last week. This is a kit that's called the Piper Computer Kit, and it's based on a Raspberry Pi 3, which we now technically have. And part of it is you have to build it inside the box. You have to build the box itself. It's got a 7-inch screen, all kinds of stuff. When you look at it on the back, you can see these were all the wooden parts we had to use to build the case. The screen was kind of pre-assembled, but it still had to be built. Blueprints, all kinds of leads and stuff. When all is said and done, what you end up with is a wooden box that looks like this, which is very cool, right? It's even got like this engraved kind of plexiglass lid on it, right? And when you open up this chest, so inside the lid is the 7-inch screen. So this is the LCD panel, which is very cool. Now this will come down. Okay, so this is this is actually like the keyboard that we're making. So we had to connect these little leads from the Raspberry Pi to these switches here for our 4 directional arrow keys and stuff. And it's pretty cool because it plays like Minecraft. And each time you walk into a new little adventure area, you watch a video and it shows you how to connect things to make the buttons to solve the puzzles for that area. So that was kind of cool. It also connects to, I guess what you call this, like a little breadboard or something like that. And on here is, right now there's a little switch, and there was a speaker. There was another one we put in, which was a little LED light. So like one of our little adventures was like you were treasure hunting. And as you're moving around the game, the light would start to flash faster before you got to the treasure. So there's like, it's kind of cool that you're playing a game and learning a little bit of electronics at the same time, And so...
Yeah, that's cool.
So the hardest part was really building the wooden case. It took us about 2 hours to put this thing together. But me and my daughter Megan built this case, and it's pretty cool, man. It's a really neat little system, and then the whole thing closes up. So so this was our little Sunday afternoon project, and it ended up being till like almost all. It took us about 2 hours to build it, and then we spent probably another hour and a half playing Minecraft and working on building our keyboard. We literally had to build our keyboard one key at a time and stuff like that. So kind of cool.
Yeah.
What's the price on it?
I've seen them varying in price anywhere between like $150 to $300, sometimes $400. I think it depends on the seller for that. This particular one was bought off of eBay. And, of course, now I'm having a complete brain freeze, so I need to look up the guy's name again who sent it to us. This is actually somebody who sent this to us who's, God, brain freeze. Where Where did his name go? Actually, I'll probably be faster to find it on Facebook. I can't believe I completely forgot the guy's name right now. Loyal. First name or last name Loyal. I don't know. Having a brain freeze. That's what happens when you get old. Looking him up right now. Dan Loyal, I think was his name. Let's see if we can find him, because I want to make sure I give proper credit where it's due. Yeah, Dan Loyal. So, and it's kind of interesting because Dan is somebody who saw us posting about Ron Klein's Raspberry Pi project. And so he kind of reached out to me via email saying, hey, how do I get a hold of Ron Klein? I'm trying to make a CoCo Pi 3. And they got together. I didn't do much, but then later on, he just kind of sent this to me. He goes, hey, your daughter likes Minecraft. You guys do cool stuff. Have fun with this. And so that was kind of cool that he sent it to us. I think he bought it on eBay, and I think he got it for about $122, which is not bad. But your mileage will vary when you go to order it, what they're selling it for. So that was my highlight of my last weekend. And then what else happened this week? I guess the other milestone for me would be I reached 1,800 subscribers on YouTube. So that's kind of a cool little milestone.
Yeah, excellent.
So thanks everybody who's subscribed there. Definitely appreciate that. Did I close my stupid browser now? Dude, I have such a hard time remembering what's what's going on here. All right, we're back. All right, so that was my week. Anybody else got anything cool that they want to talk about before we jump in?
Bill, you've been working with Roger on the Cyclone. He's added some new features the last week or two, hasn't he?
Yeah, actually, I was working with Roger earlier this week, and we actually fine-tuned the AY sound chip on the CoCo on the chip, and we actually got it playing YM files now.
Yay!
Very cool.
He was doing a map processor too. He's been working on. I've seen some fractal.
Yes, that is actually one awesome piece of hardware there. Like, it will actually do any math calculation within one CPU cycle.
Oh wow, that would help. Some of the other ones take quite a while. Like even the 6 through 9, like a hardware divide, can take like 30 cycles.
Yeah.
That's cool. I noticed a little bit of sound looping going on there right now. So what I've done for right now is I'm stopping the sharing of the system audio. I think it's causing something. So when Bill was talking, I was hearing a little echo loop. So you guys won't be able to hear Bomb Threat when we play it, but I don't know if I just don't want to mess up the overall thing. And Glenn Hewlett's here. Hey Glenn, how are you? Grant Leighty's here. Grant says he's going to try to call in, and he's going to do that when his computer's done with its updates. Yes, Windows updates have been an interesting thing going on lately too. Cool. So yeah, so when you guys do these FPGA things, I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to this stuff, but basically the FPGA is like a piece of hardware that it's kind of like a molding clay where you can make this hardware do whatever it is you want it to do by just programming it to do stuff.
Yeah, basically it's programmable hardware.
Programmable hardware. Yeah, it's hard to imagine, like when you have these things like these Raspberry Pis and all these microcontrollers and stuff, it's just hard to imagine that there's this hardware thing that can be made to do whatever you want it to do with software.
It is pretty cool.
Interesting times that we live in. Yeah. All right, do we want to jump in and look at Bomb Threat?
I believe we should.
Rick, do you want to be on camera for this, or are you just going to narrate?
Are you muted, Rick?
Now I'm not. I couldn't hear anything that he was saying, so I'm guessing that he said, Rick, you should tell them what's going on, right?
Well, I was asking you, I said we should probably now start to talk about Bomb Threat, and what I was wanting to know was, did you want to be on camera to talk about it, or did you just want to narrate it?
Rick, you're not hearing Steve? It's weird.
I'm getting this message from the booth here. It appears we're having some technical difficulties with the satellite uplink. My producer just phoned in from the SATCOM station.
Now you get to flash that little graphic on experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Right. Rick, do you copy?
Oh, you're sort of back. Yes, I'm here.
All right. Is it by any chance you might be having some bandwidth issues, Rich, or maybe I don't know? Is it possible? Do we have too many people on the call? I don't think we got that many on this call. We've had
No, and I
bigger
think
calls than
everybody
this
else is
before.
hearing things too. Rick, you don't have a Windows update or something running in the background on your network, do you?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. So, let's see.
It sounds a lot better now.
Yeah,
it's
well,
really
going on.
Okay.
I was asking if you wanted to be on camera or not, Rick, when we get ready to start this
Right.
thing.
I'm thinking we can't afford to have me be on camera.
Yeah, if it's a bandwidth issue, we don't want to make it worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let me. I have something running on my laptop. Let me go make sure that that's like shut down.
Okay. So while we're doing that, let's run a bumper here from the CoCo community.
And we're having a great time geeking out on 30-year-old hardware. Having fun.
I'm Evan Wright, author of Flooded for the Color Computer, and you're listening to Original Gamer Steve Stroh.
Hi, I'm Max Jackson. We're at CoCo Fest, and you're watching the Original Gamer, Steve Stroh.
What
Yeah,
happened to the phone call? Somebody's trying to call into a different group call right now.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
not
Nick.
All right, Nick, you need to call me directly. Rick, are you back? Are you still working
I'm
on
here.
something?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Were you still working on...
No, I shut it down.
Okay. All right, so how about everybody who's not Rick Adams right now, mute your camera and microphone, and let's try to just focus our bandwidth on Rick for right now. And then just unmute when you have a question. Let's try to keep the sound down to a minimum. All right, Rick, so can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right. So I'm also not going to try to share the audio. But right now we are looking at the title screen to Bomb Threat. And you were kind enough to customize it for today to say the CoCoTALK version, since we are doing technically the world premiere of the fairly finished version of this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
the developer and ship the product version, yes.
Okay. So on that third-rate introduction, I give you, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Adams, and I'll let you take it from here, Rick.
Well, everybody's heard the story, I think, pretty much. I'll try to give you the 50,000-foot view version. Back in, obviously, 1984, I tried to market this to Tandy, and they sort of nibbled at it for a bit, but they eventually decided, no, we don't want to buy that game. So I tried to shop it around to some other places, and they didn't seem to want it either. So it just sort of languished in my basement for many, many long years. And so my kids loved playing the game when they were kids. And they called it the tractor game, because that little blue thing running around, they called it the tractor. It's actually a forklift. And so they were talking about it one day, and they said, Dad can't find it. And I had gone down to the basement many times and tried to look for. I knew right where the floppies were that had the game on it, and they weren't there. And I can't find it. I've gone down there many times, and I've turned the house upside down, and they're simply gone. So they said, yes, but remember, he used to go to school on show and tell day, and he'd show the class, here's my games that I'm working on, and he did a, whoops. Are we still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. My screen just totally glitched weird.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I made a few changes because your sound was breaking up really bad. I was trying to see if I could change a few things on my end.
Sure. So there was a VCR tape of him playing the game, and that's the only thing from the original game. So I put that on YouTube, and a number of people were talking about it. And I went to CoCo Fest, and people started teaching me how to, how do you do a color computer development environment these days. It's a little different than using an EditSM plus cartridge. And so I decided to start programming the game from scratch, and sort of used the gameplay video that was on YouTube as a guide, and came up with the game, just out of nothing. So, and just as much as I could remember. So that's the story. So I'm pretty much done. There's a few things I want to do beyond this. Like I want to do like a CoCo 3 version that doesn't use composite and artifact colors. I want to get away from the artifact colors because you don't really have to do that these days.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's been pretty much how it was. And so I'm done.
There you go. There you go. Now, I think one of the last things you'd also put a message out on Facebook for was enlisting some assistance to change one of the sound effects. And have you made any progress with that?
Absolutely not. So
Okay.
I gave up, and I put the original. I've got like a little chime sound that I got from when I did Shanghai.
Okay.
We were able to read. I was able to find the discs for Shanghai, and brought those into CoCo Fest. And so we read those and got those into zip files and stuff so that people could look over the actual source. And so I stole a sound routine out of that and used that for the sound rather than the original sound.
Okay. And it is possible that that might change before the final release, but if not,
Yeah, exactly. That
I think Eric Gavrelek was actually giving you some suggestions on algorithmically what he thought it would be, but not actual code.
Right. But I couldn't really run with that because I didn't really understand what he was saying enough to really get it. So I sort of got it, but not enough to write code from.
Right. And so your suggestion today, too, was that I'm going to play this game with a Black Beauty joystick for maximum CoCo ability here.
Sadomasochism, that's what that is.
The Black Beauty joystick. So we'll go ahead and I'll start playing it. And that for me, I just want to say this is kind of like a, pinch me, is this real type situation, because, there's a lot of history to how this thing has come full circle, where, you were one of our first CoCo developers that we interviewed, and so you were the first big interview for our channel. We talked about this on that interview. You had mentioned that you had created this and you lost it, and at that time we didn't even have the video of it, so it was just like, wow, wouldn't that be cool if we could somehow find it, And then we heard in your keynote how you kept looking for the floppies in your basement. You didn't find the floppies. And so those are somewhere near the Ark of the Covenant, we have to assume. And then I think it was, we started this in CoCoTALK, where the conversations that were happening offline kind of fed into, like you mentioned, where they were showing you how to get a modern development environment going. So I think CoCoTALK is part of the reasons why this got started again, or at least we'll put some fuel on that fire. And so we went from you being our first big celebrity interview to talking about this on CoCoTALK to now debuting it on CoCoTALK. So it's a big 360-degree circle here that's taken place. And for me, it's still like, I can't believe I'm talking to the people I played the games of, back in the day, and now we're seeing new games all the time. So this is a big pinch me moment for me. So this is thrilling to be able to do this. And so now we're going to start the game right now. We need to go over here. I need to click on this, and I'm going to press 1 for 1 player. And here we go. So we start off in this big playing field here. And the white boxes are the cargo that we have to protect, right? Oh, and see, that one just blew up and it blew
Yes.
me up. Boo. Okay, Karen is calling. All right.
No points for that.
No
No
points for you. No points for you. I'm trying to add Karen to the group Skype call right now. I don't know if it went through or not. Okay. Now, one of the things that I realize is that at some point in time, I'll be smart enough where I can figure out a strategy. Right now, I'm playing very just seat of the pants. But you have to move the white boxes around and keep them away from the red bombs.
Yeah. Actually, I think the core thing here is you have to watch the fuses on the bombs to see which one's going to go off next.
Ah, yes, because there is an animation. There's kind of a countdown animation as they're starting to.
Yeah, because then you know which ones are going to blow up next, and those are the boxes you should concentrate on first.
Right, so this one
So
here
then
is
every
gonna
time
blow
the
up.
color
Yeah.
on the screen flashes, that's a bomb blowing up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's one bomb left. And so it's kind of cool, the mechanics here, too, where we can push a stack of things. You can't pull a stack, though, right? When you go to pull, you can only pull one. Which kind of makes sense. It's kind of hard to pull a stack of anything if they're not connected. So it's like the physics are there. Yeah, and trying to do this with the Black Beauty, yes, is an exercise in challenge, we should say. Okay.
That's difficulty level expert.
Yes. All right, so we're going to move these red bombs out of the way.
Nice, you can move the bombs also. I didn't realize that. Okay.
And Rick, I assume the game the fuses go faster and faster, or more bombs are going to go off simultaneously as you progress?
Okay, no, because I got close to it and I died. Hey, Karen, welcome to the call.
Did Nick make it on the call? He was trying to get on.
I don't know if Nick called me directly. I didn't see that call. Okay, that's going to be a problem.
Okay, I'm
there.
back.
Oh, Rick was gone. Now Rick is back. Welcome back, Rick. It's trying to manage the game and 400 people on a Skype call at once here.
So now, Rick, do the symbols on the boxes do they have any significance, or are they just symbols?
I don't know if he heard you.
Sounds
Yeah, I
like
don't.
still haven't
Rick
been.
Yeah, Rick might be having issues.
I
It
did-
sounds maybe.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
I was just wondering, do the symbols on the boxes themselves have any kind of significance to gameplay, or are they just symbols?
Yes.
Yes, what?
The circle is worth a medium amount of points, and the plus sign is worth more points, and the
Okay.
square is worth less points.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like small, medium, and large payoffs.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that
Okay.
appeals to the greed of the player that you're going to try to protect your plus.
Right.
Right.
Protect,
yeah,
try to protect
I
the
am
ones
not-
that are higher. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not able to process that much either. I'm just like trying to move crap out of the way.
Well, I'm able to watch it as you're playing, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
easier to try to pick out what's going on.
Yeah, we can live critique Steve and his idiot decisions as which box he's trying to save. So
Hey, let's
And
leave
now
my
what-
career. Let's leave my career out of this.
What's the range? Did the bombs have like a random range, or they have a standard range, or how does that work?
I think up, down, left, right, they will blow up the square that they occupy and two other squares. And then
Okay.
on the diagonals, I think it's one away.
Okay.
so you kind of tried to do a circular explosion type thing.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, that bomb there looks like he's going down.
Yeah,
Going down. Ooh.
you want to stay away from him.
Yeah, get out of the
Yeah.
way. There you go.
Let's see if I can do this. Look at that. Pro skills right there before the bomb blew.
Woo!
I saved the whole stack. Ah, crap. There we go.
So
Get the
Rick,
plus.
how pleased are you with the result of the game compared to what the original was like? Like aside from the one sound routine, is it pretty well dead on what you were expecting?
Well, there are lots of subtle little differences, all having to do with tuning. You know, it's like, how many boxes are there? How many bombs are there? How fast do the bombs fuses tick down? How often do they light? And all kinds of little things like that. Those little details, I'm sure, are not the same. They're close. They might some of them might actually be better in this version than the original version. I don't know. And as the levels go up, you have more bombs. They go off more often. There are, I don't think I've seen it happen, but there's supposed to be bombs that show up like in the boxes. You'll have a surprise bomb. You'll be toting a box around, and all of a sudden it'll turn into a bomb.
I've seen that.
Oh, well. Yeah. Oh, you have seen that. Good.
I've had boxes turn into bombs, yeah.
Okay. So, how many of those do that? What is the frequency of that? All kinds of little...
Yeah, you're kind of coming and going audibly, Rick. I hear Curtis's keyboard just fine, though.
You're welcome. I'm adding sound effects since we can't hear them on Skype. That's the ticking of the bomb, don't you know?
Fine, yeah. I like the explosion sound effects. It's very 8-bit Atari-ish, Sounds like most of the video game explosions of that era.
Now, I have a question on the graphics design of the bombs. Did you purposely make it look like Pac-Man Jr., or was that just an accident?
I have never seen Pac-Man Jr. in my life, so I would have to say...
Because it kind of looks like a sideways Pac-Man with a smiling face with a little top hat, which is kind of what the Pac-Man Jr.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, actually.
Well, it's supposed to be like a black, sphere with a little curly Q bomb sticking out the top.
And then I guess the part that looks like a mouth is just supposed to be like a shine on the side of it or something? Okay.
Exactly. And that looked a little better in the original than it does in this. So that's one thing I didn't get quite as well. It's really difficult to figure out how to do these graphics in composite colors. Because it's really
right, because you're not dealing with actual true pixels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're dealing with vertical pixels and up to 3 or 4 pixels horizontally subtly changes the shades and.
Exactly.
So was this originally designed for the CoCo 3 then, or what was the original design?
For the CoCo 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
The CoCo 3 hadn't been invented yet. Well, actually it had, but they hadn't told me about it.
So then, unless and my knowledge on this is still growing, but I thought that composite artifacting was something that was on both those machines, right?
Oh, it is. But with the CoCo 3, you don't the composite artifact.
Blown up.
Because and the original line.
Thank you. My children just handed me cinnamon rolls. That's awesome.
You're going to share with the rest of us, right?
Yes, everybody.
Can you upload those?
Take a digital sniff of these there. So yeah.
Can you put it up on the Food FTP site? I guess what FTP stands for. Food Transfer Protocol.
The Food Transfer Protocol. Yeah. Here's what I want to try to do. I'm going to try to do a 2-player version here, and see, now we can see 2 different scoreboards here too.
You can play by yourself, 2 people?
Yeah. One for each of my personalities. Well, Drencor's not
so
here,
they're not... Okay, I thought they were going to be on the screen at the same time, but they're not. It's like the old school game where you do one at a time. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, you take turns. Yeah, since David Ladd, a.k.a. Paco Atakte, a.k.a. Drencor, is not here, the role of multiple personalities today will be played by me. So.
I haven't tried it on 2 players. Do you complete a level, then it's the other player's turn, or does one player play until they die?
Yes. Oh, one player plays until he dies, I think.
Okay, that was pretty typical.
Okay.
Oh, crap. See, that one just turned into a bomb.
Yep.
And he's been rescued.
I added that feature while I was on my vacation. I was sitting in a hotel in Wyoming.
Nice.
Now, was that original feature as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And to be honest, what else are you going to do in Wyoming?
Yeah, why were you vacationing in Wyoming?
Long story, actually. We flew to Oregon, where my mom is, and she also had in storage my wife's family's china. And so the crazy idea was that we were going to fly into Oregon, visit with my mom for a week, and then pack up to China in the back of a rental car and drive all the way across the country and show up in Minnesota with, and that way we wouldn't break the China. And we would get like a nice road trip out of it. Only my mom decided to give us her car because she decided that, she can't drive anymore because she's like 88. So
this is planned suicide right here. Watch this. 4 bombs at once. Boom. Okay.
I'm beginning to understand why you suck at a lot of games.
Ooh.
I meant to do that.
You're also going to be the foil today since David isn't here, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. Hey, I got to take one for the team.
I'll do it next week.
Yeah, so this is me. Oh, that one's going to blow. I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the better. All right, so he just turned. Did he turn? All right, let's get you away. His wick is not blowing up there yet. Okay, get me away now. Okay, so this is me testing player 2 right now. So as soon as these bombs blow up, I should get some points on the board for player 2. So I want to just test the 2 players here.
Mm-hmm.
There
and
we
you
go.
may find bugs.
There we go. Oh, player 2's got more points already. My other personality is much better.
Does player 2 play on the same screen, or do they get their own screen?
It's their own
Same
screen. Well, when you mean by
sorry,
screen,
yeah.
it's a different warehouse full of boxes though.
So
It's
then,
like identical warehouse, though, right?
Yes. Identical warehouse, but a different random arrangement of cargo, right?
Right.
so then, Rick, how does the difficulty progress or change, or how does that work in the game?
That's another tuning sort of issue. There's more bombs, faster, nastier sort of stuff, and it ramps up till you're about level, I think, 8 or 10, and then it just plateaus.
I mean, since Stevie's playing, we'll never see that, but I was just wondering how it would...
Wow, I'm getting the Drencore treatment already.
Yeah, well, Curtis called it, so,
Yeah.
Once you open the door to multiple personalities, anything's fair game.
Oh.
You blew up real good.
Blew it up real good. I like it. It's fun. Crap, I'm screwing things up here big time.
Yeah, it does. It looks good, yeah.
Now, Rick, have you decided how you're distributing it yet, or is that still in flux?
It's still in flux.
All right, so player 2 had a good run. We're going back to player 1.
Okay.
So you're going to consider releasing the source code as well?
I've thought about that. People have talked me out of that. Maybe somebody could talk me back into that. I mean, it's sort of a balance between making money and having fun.
Right.
Well,
I always thought... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's for maximum money, you would just lock it away and you put in copy protection and all this crap, And then for maximum fun, I just put the source code right out there today, That would be maximum fun for me.
Well, my thought on it was, you release it or you sell it for a time period, whatever seems reasonable, and then release it after that. But I don't know. I just thought it would be as a community thing if more of this source code got released so that people can learn from it, I guess is what my thought was. So.
And there are certain people that I have given the source code to. It's people that I know, people that I dealt with quite a bit at CoCo Fest, and who are super duper, coders.
Right.
And it's like, help me with this. Here's the source. Some people I would, give a part of the source to. It's like, here's the sound routine. It sucks. Please help me make it better. And then other people, for more, persistent problems. Like I had a random crash that was happening. For those people, I would just give them the whole thing. So.
Was one of the earlier
apparently
ones you thought was a memory leak or something, right? And Bill discovered it to be something else.
I think it was Bill and Curtis.
Yeah, that was the IRQ one, wasn't it?
It was the IRQ one, yeah.
Yep. And he has all the white boxes stacked quite neatly. Unfortunately, if any of them turn to a bomb, he's screwed.
Right. So yeah, if you really wanted to, you could get creative and make all kinds of patterns here too with your your box manipulation. Hey, John Linville's here.
Well, somebody at CoCo Fest had a whole bunch of ideas. They were just like sort of free associating and coming up with ideas for making the game better.
Was that Alan?
It might have been. It was like stuff like it might have been Alan, and it might have been somebody else. There's ideas like make certain squares on the board be double points. So if you get the boxes within that area, so it's sort of like Scrabble, 3 times word score, sort of a deal. So that was
right.
I think I kind of need, where it puts player 1 and then it sweeps it away. I kind of need one for game over at the end of the game, I think. When a player is dead, dead is 3 lives are gone.
I was also wondering, like you were mentioning, like, it ramps up at certain levels, and at certain levels, certain things kick in. But you don't have the level displayed on the screen, do you?
No, I don't.
So that might be something if you have room for it.
Yeah, that would be helpful too, and kind of give you the progression feel,
Especially with 2 players, you can see who's farther, and
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Bragging rights and and screenshots show the community, hey, I got to level 17.
Yeah, true.
And for Steve's version, you only need 1 digit, so you'd be fine.
Wow, this is great. So this is what it feels like to be Curtis and
I
David.
know what Dave feels.
Speaking of which, he just died.
Yeah, there we go. That was cool. So I tested 2 players on it too. Yeah, it seems to work out pretty
good. All right, good.
Okay, so first last in the chat says, "Do you want to laugh? I have logo on a cartridge." Oh, and then Glenn Hewlett says, "Maybe you should show how many lives you have left."
Yeah, I guess it depends how much Rick wants to put into either making a version 2 or whatever he wants to do with it. But there's certainly things that you could do that make it would improve it. Yeah. Right.
So that gets into, like you say, like Rick said before, it's time to release the product. If this is how it was when it was originally developed, you feature creep can set in and wish lists can set in, and everybody, I had a couple of questions and suggestions too, but I also understand, you know what, it's his baby, and he wants to do it how he wants to do it too. So,
and his original goal was to recreate the original game. So I mean, this could be a version 1 where this is the way it was back in 1984, and then you could do a version 2 where you can start adding some extra suggestions and some other improvements on gameplay from testing. Because I mean, that's what he would have done if he probably had been with Tandy. If they'd made suggestions, he would have added those too.
Mm-hmm. Right. The one thing the 2 things I badly want are, just to be stubborn, to get that original scoring sound back. Mm-hmm. And then also, it really badly is screaming for, it needs a CoCo 3 mode, where you can set the palettes, to the right colors, and you can make it look nicer, so you don't have to use the artifacting colors. So those are the 2 things I'd really like to be able to do.
Okay, so when you're talking CoCo 3 mode, you're meaning just supporting an RGB palette. You're not talking about redoing it in higher res or 16 colors or something, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's definitely fun. And I can see how, you get 2 people going. At least the one thing you have to compete with is the scoreboard. But yeah, it would be interesting too to maybe see what level number you made it to.
Right.
It plays well.
So probably, actually, I would rather not put. I kind of like the bottom screen to be clean and just have the 2 numbers. So really, when you start a game, it says player 1 or player 2, and then it sweeps it away. I would probably want to put a second line of text there that
There you
says,
go.
level
Yeah.
level 17.
Yeah,
That would-
and
that would
then
totally be doing.
yeah, and then whenever the level clears, and like you said, the next time it would say level 2, 3, whatever. That way,
Yeah.
it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you could even have that on
yeah.
your high score screen too, if you wanted to too. Like you got this score and you were on level whatever.
You might know the number of lift trucks you have left too.
Well, that's on the screen. When it wipes away the player one, there's 1, 2, or 3 trucks over on the left.
Okay, so that is on there.
I didn't realize what that was. I saw that and wasn't quite sure what that was
Yeah.
displaying. Okay.
And by the way,
Ricky.
a few chats ago, John Linville also chimed in and says, I would love to help get this available on cartridge, in a box, etc. Send me an email. So there you go.
Right.
The offer has been made. And yeah, and definitely put me down for a cartridge sale as well as a digital edition. And if you have
Right.
a signed source code floppy or expired laptop hard drive that the original source code is on or anything like that. So let the auctions begin. Do I hear $5?
And I have sent the game itself out to quite a few people. I would say a handful of people, mainly people that I met at CoCo Fest. And nobody's really done anything with that other than Stevie. So
It looks good.
I've just been too busy. Sorry.
that's fine. Now you're busy with work, which I totally understand. Fortunately, my life isn't like that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I did help you with that IRQ routine, so I felt like I contributed
Oh,
a little bit
absolutely.
anyway.
And I would have never solved that on my own, so I'm very happy and thankful about that.
Right. So how long has this been? Has it been maybe 6 months, a little less than 6 months from recreation till today?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you the first time around?
I don't remember. Maybe a month? I don't know.
Hey, Steve, it looks like some people are asking what the name of the game is. Bomb Threat. Oh, there I see you did put it up.
put that
Okay.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bosco just chimed in saying, always great to see new games. Said, no doubt. What's the RAM requirement? on this one?
Old games.
Yeah. Will this work on a 4K CoCo, or what's the?
Well, the program itself is a little more than 4K.
Okay, so at least a 16K CoCo.
Yeah, and the high res mode would
Yeah.
require 16K too. So
Yeah. It's possible that, it's possible I could make the game smaller because, it's been quite a few years since I've done programming on a color computer. It's not position independent, and I really would prefer that it was position independent. So I need to learn more about how I used to do that.
Okay.
I can get lots of clues from how I programmed Shanghai, because that was position independent, which surprised a few people and disappointed a few others, like pirates that were like really looking forward to cracking my copy protection, and then they were deeply disappointed to find out there wasn't any.
Right, so a P Mode 4 screen is 6K by itself, just the graphics screen. So there's no way it would work on the 4K machine. Right.
no,
That
it
makes
requires
sense now.
16K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does it require 32K with the code and the graphics? Oh no, you're not double buffering anything,
I'm not
are you?
double buffering. No.
Yeah, so 16K it should be able to run, I would guess,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
on cartridge or disc or cassette or whatever.
Although nowadays you just fire up your emulator and it's like, how much memory do you have? Well, I don't know. How much memory do you want?
Right.
Oh, you want 15 gig? Okay, great.
8 meg, fill it up.
Let me see how badly I can bloat this code.
Really?
No, he's joined the dark side.
Right. Nick Marentes is here. How are you, Nick? Good day.
G'day.
What do you think of the
Well,
world
Bomb
premiere
Threat was
of
not done in
Bomb Threat so far?
OS 9, so you should be okay.
Actually, that one probably could be ported pretty easily.
Well, not as easily now because it's not very position independent.
Yeah, well, from when I looked at the code, it was mostly just you had to launch up JSRs and jumps, which you could just change to long branches, long branched subroutines, so it wouldn't be too hard to fix up.
Yep.
So says Curtis.
Well, we ported the heck was it called? Zero Gravity, one of the Chromaset machine language games. One of the guys up here in Saskatoon ported it, and it only took him like 2 weeks. And he'd never touched OS9 assembly language before, and he had it fully up and running with the sound effects and everything else in level 1. So,
well, I feel like playing the game again. It's a good.
So for Rick, other than some of the patches you want to do for the CoCo 3 and tweaking the sound routines, etc., and possibly maybe later on doing a heightened version with some extra things, do you have any other projects that you're thinking of doing? Like maybe a CoCo 3 only game using high res or?
I've been thinking about that. I don't really know. I have some vague ideas, but I like doing. Like Temple of Ram was sort of an exploration game, and I kind of like that aspect of things. So I'm trying to think of some sort of project that would sort of tickle that itch, but nothing really specific is coming to mind.
Okay. Whatever it is, I'm looking forward.
Oh yeah, development on the color computer right now is really super easy.
And
it's nothing like the old days.
That one just turned to you. Yep, that one just turned on you. Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot faster with the cross development tools, and Nick and I are too stupid to use those, so we just do it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, you guys are foreigners too, so you guys they always do things backwards in the third and fourth worlds.
Maybe they don't get that on the internet up there, or down there.
I don't know. To us, it's just cheating.
Oh wow, that's a whole row of bombs there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of works out
totally
that when
an accident.
When he pushes a whole bunch of stuff, it does sound like the engine's working harder too, because the CoCo's working harder,
Right. That actually is completely artificial. I don't know how I did the sound originally. But it was like totally. Somehow I had the sound in a loop that went slower the more things you were pushing. So it just sort of automatic. When I first heard that it do that, I thought, oh, I got to fix that. And then I thought, well, why? It's just working harder because it's pushing more boxes.
Right.
So it actually made sense. So, but when I did this version, no matter where I put it in the loops, it didn't do that. It was always the same sound. So I had to actually go and count how many things you're pushing, and change the pitch of the sound based on how many things you're pushing. I had to actually do it, algorithmically. Rather than it sort of happened organically in the original.
You must have had it tied to your graphics drawing loop or something then, so the more graphics it drew, the slower refreshes.
Right. And I tried to replicate that because I figured that was what was happening. But no matter where I put it, it just wouldn't do it. So
you've gotten too efficient at programming. You're too optimized now, so you.
Yeah, right.
Right. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Right. The truth is out there. I want to believe. Yeah, it's a fun little game. It really is.
I'm disappointed Tandy did not pick it up.
Yeah, I'm sure Rick's a little disappointed too financially that it didn't sell back in the days when
this would all get published today.
Yeah.
So, if I wanted maximum money, I would lock it away. So I want some sort of balance between the two. And then the additional complication is that I suck at business. So, and from what I'm told, if I go for maximum money, really I'm going to get, probably $900, something like that. Enough for a nice, weekend at Duluth. So that would be nice. But but it's not like we're talking about
an order for two at Starbucks.
Right. Oh, that was Delphi Turn.
Yeah, that shareware thing never did work too well.
Yeah, so it's not like my chalet in the Swiss Alps is at stake, you know.
I just had a thought here. One way you might be able to do it along the source code thing is you could charge, whatever your regular fee is for the game, and then maybe add $5 if you want the source code with it, because not everybody's going to want the source code. Not everybody's a programmer, so they would touch it anyway, and that way you could have the source code out to the people that want to fiddle with it right off the bat, and you make a little bit of extra money while you're at it.
Right. Now, in the old days, if you did that, somebody would take the source code and they would just put it on a website and it would be gone.
Right.
Or BBS.
Now, nowadays, the community is much smaller and there's a lot more love, so that wouldn't necessarily be as true. It would still happen,
right?
But it wouldn't, it wouldn't be completely ridiculous.
It's like you said. It's the amount of money you might make on this is not that dramatic that the source code getting out there would be a huge deal anyway. But
and I think we're not dealing with a bunch of teenage kids that can't really afford anything and had to pirate if they ever wanted to play games, because like $40 a cartridge that takes you 3 months on a paper route to save up type thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
Now we're all
nowadays
got jobs or even retired in some cases, and now it's not such a big deal to pay for it.
Right.
The one benefit of the retro hobby is that most of the people in it can actually afford it now.
Yeah.
The irony.
Just make sure you charge Steve extra for the cheat pokes to get extra men, which he'll need. So.
Well, he's going to need a lot of them.
I think there is a market for like a digital deluxe, because if you think about it now, even when you go to buy movies, you can buy just the DVD or you can buy the Blu-ray deluxe edition that comes with like extra content and deleted scenes and stuff. So people like sometimes the idea of the value added, getting something more than just the movie. If somebody's a collector, I would be happy to buy the floppy version and the cartridge version and the digital version. And, if there was like a super bundle package where you could get a lot of different ways, it would be nice if some people consider doing something like that too, for the people who do want to pay for it. And want to, because it's really, like you say, nobody's going to get rich here. It's really more about the gesture. And if you spent the time and energy working on this, I want to show the gesture of, doing what I can to help do my thank you by sending you a couple bucks,
Mm-hmm. And when people talk about this game and they say, oh man, I can't wait to see this game, oh, I can't wait for it to be released so I can get my hands on it and I can play it, that makes me feel really good.
Right. So there's
now Shanghai. I want to point out something about Shanghai, which is I've gotten all the money that I'm going to get out of Shanghai. So we read those Shanghai discs, the source discs, and there's like about 4 or 5 of those that show the game in various stages of development. And we read off all the data off of those, and then we took the discs and we auctioned them off at CoCoFest.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a zip file full of all of that data, and really, I'm going to be throwing that out in the wild, at fairly soon, because, the only people that are going to be interested in that are people that just sort of, are color computer assembler programmers, and, they would like to see what it looks like.
Right.
And that would be fun. So, and then it has some fun little things in there, like some of the comments are kind of snarky. Like when I thought it was at the very, very last second that Tandy decided to completely change the color set on me. But it turns out when I look at it that it was actually, a bit earlier than that, because I had more time to react to it than I thought. Because in the comments of the source, you can see where I first put in the new color set, and a couple of comments I'm snarky about it. It was on their color set. I had the comment, amazing, which basically means it's amazing that you're making me do this crazy stupid thing. That's basically what I meant by that.
Right.
And then and then I took the original color set and I had it be a hidden color set, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And the comments for that color set are better.
Better.
So
Better than amazing.
Better than
Yes.
amazing.
yes, your color set is amazingly stupid, is what I was meaning to say. I can't remember what other little snarky comments I had in there. That was kind of fun.
Well, there was a few.
And I was thinking too, like when you release the source, if you want to go real old school, you should send them a line printer copy of it. On fan folded paper. On a DMP 100 with the uppercase and lowercase
Hey,
shift
you're
up and
getting
down.
into the upper levels here. What happened? You got better.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's because he's not talking.
I'm
Yeah.
listening. I'm listening to Curtis run his mouth, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's nice to know my voice is so inspiring.
Oh, dude, I got smoked.
Whoops, there he goes. We distracted him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a single tasker. That's why he doesn't like OS9.
Yep. It's fun, though. It's a fun little game. I like it a lot.
Okay. Terrific.
I'm looking
Davey
forward to
Mitchell.
actually getting some time to play it.
Right.
And there is
So
one
when do
person
you-
who said that there is one person that said that they really wanted to play the game, and I didn't really know how to get a hold of them, so I sent them a friend request on Facebook, and they have not answered that friend request, so they're not getting a copy.
Ah.
So if you have a friend request from me that's hanging fire, you might want to pay attention.
There you go. So did you do any blogging with this too, or is this just you just were working on it?
I was just working on it.
Yeah.
I have a blog for it, but I haven't even figured out which WordPress theme I want to use, and I hate them all. So
Yeah.
far that's not getting very far.
Yeah.
And really, it's like pretty much all over now. So it's almost like, why should I do a blog?
Right. It's neat. It's really neat.
If
You
you
could
do
kinda
end up
do
doing a
like
version
a,
2, you might blog that.
Yeah, or you could do like a post-mortem of things that you figured out or
Right.
what was different, that'd kind of be interesting to read, I think.
Mm-hmm. Or a Steve gameplay strategy blog.
Yeah. I'll let you know how that's working out. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, yeah, that was it, man. That was the world premiere of Bomb Threat, and pretty exciting stuff. Another brand new game, brand new old game for the
Yeah, that's
For
what
the color
Glenn
computer.
Hewitt said, yeah.
Yeah, over 30 years in the making.
Yeah. Which is almost like speaking of that was what Bruce Moore's project working on.
Forced to Doom.
On his Forest of Doom. He was saying he was going to try to come in today and give us an announcement. We haven't seen Bruce yet. So, cool stuff.
Yeah, he's feature freezing it now, so it's just more bug tweaks and stuff, I think.
Yeah, and I think that has to become necessary, right, to get something finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you ever want to actually put it out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Too right.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting the the physical copies of these when they're ready.
Lorbieski said Mercedes.
Oh yeah, he says Rick needs gas money for his Mercedes. James Ross just chimed in. Hey James, how are you? James says he's been watching for 15 minutes now, and it's a nice game.
That it is.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, so last week we talked about doing an OS9 expose, which I still want to do. And unfortunately for most of us, we've had hectic weeks. So for me, before I wanted to try to unveil OS9, I need to get it installed and play with it a little bit too, so I kind of understand it.
I think Nick volunteered to help you with that, so.
So possibly by next week, if I get a chance to get some stuff loaded up and looked at, I want to have a little bit of familiarity with it show it off. And of course, now my CoCo 3 just died, so I've got a project to try to get my CoCos working again.
See, I think this is just Steve just trying to pass the ball down to a few months away.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like my CoCo 3, and I was planning on bringing one to Tandy Assembly, so I need to be able to show off, DK Remix and Pac-Man and everything else on a CoCo 3 to Popstar Pilot. So we got to have a machine going.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happened to it. Like, were you just turning it on, or were you like?
Yeah, well, no, it was on earlier today because I recorded the promo video on it, and then I went to turn it on and off again, and the screen just wigged out on it, and the screen doesn't come all the way up. The screen looks like random characters and semi-graphics, and even when I pull the cartridge out, it still does that. So,
if you Control Alt Reset, does it?
I don't know. No, I didn't try that. I tried it 3 times. It didn't work, and I had to move on to get ready for this. So,
it's probably a bad CPU.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, anybody?
Because if the gaming was bad, it probably
some
wouldn't even be displaying
6309s?
garbage. So.
Hey, I got plenty of 6309s. I'll send you one.
Send me 2 because I've got two 512K CoCos that are having issues. So
and you should get the protector for Cloud9 too.
What was that? 2 people talking at once there.
Do you have that socketed?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it has to be socketed for the 6309.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So,
but I would say get the protector card from Cloud9 because that'll protect the CPU for a lot of things that blow it up.
Okay.
Man, I think Cloud9's going to be busy.
Yeah, put in my orders early. Yeah, but
if you send me your address, I'll send two CPUs out to you today.
Okay, great. Will do. All right. Well, what else we want to talk about today, boys and girls? How about we do this? Let's take a look at Tandy Assembly, shall we? Let's see what the latest is from Tandy Assembly. And for example, when we look at our exhibitors page now, one of the new announcements that just came out was that Ian Maverick is coming down. If you guys are not familiar with Ian Maverick, he's part of the Trash Talkers podcast. He's in Australia, and he makes a lot of cool TRS-80 hardware, right? What does he make? Like floppy drive emulators and all kinds of other kits and stuff you can do. I don't even remember them all, but he's kind of like the Ed Snyder for the Model 1, 3, and 4s. So he makes all kinds of cool hardware and kits and stuff. And so he will be joining Tandy Assembly. So we are definitely starting to assemble an international audience here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Cloud9 is going to be there. So that's always good. Randy Kindig from Floppy Days and Trash Talkers is going to be there. And Retro Innovations, that's our friend Jim Brain, says CoCo Products. Peter Satinsky from Trash Talkers. Richard Lorbieski from San Antonio, Texas. Yee-haw! All right.
Howdy, partners.
The stars at night are shining bright deep in the heart of Texas. All right.
Oh, we don't do that. No.
I was just trying to find the mute button there. I didn't hit it fast enough.
That's one of my favorite scenes from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Tandy Assembly is shaping up. Do we have any more speakers discussed? We have our three bigwigs speaking right now. So that's good. What is new and exciting going on in the Facebook group right now? Let's take a look at that. See if we missed anything going on in Facebook this week. Okay, there we go. Bomb threat. There's Rick showing off the original YouTube video. It's probably worth watching the original YouTube video again, too. So this is the original YouTube video of the original bomb threat right here. Oh, yeah. Sounds are a little bit different.
The sound of the tractor, I think, is better in the new one than the original.
Yes. Yeah. And the bombs look slightly different, but they look good.
Yeah, I like the new one actually a little bit better, to be honest.
Yeah. The explosion sounds are about the same. Yeah, see, I just saw a bomb change there, too. A cargo turned into a bomb, and you just blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, player 1. Okay.
And Rick, your original version, was that meant to be for cartridge?
Yes.
And you can see the fuses counting down on these guys too. I'm going to copy that link and put that link into the chat here too. So if anybody watching this wants to catch on to that, there's the link to his video. John Linville says still looking for hobbyist speakers. Well, John, I had offered, before you even got your stuff together, that I'd be happy to do a. I've learned from Curtis that it's real easy to talk about nothing on hours at end. So
I'm an expert at that.
Oh yeah, there's the sound there. Pew, pew, pew. It almost sounds like a laser beam when you're scoring there.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed a difference in the sound there.
So if somebody were to write a routine that makes that sound and send it to me, what would you get? Well, nothing actually, but I'd be really grateful.
They'll get a public shout out on the show.
You would, your name would go into source code,
right?
Because some of the sound routines in Shanghai were written by other people, and their names are in the source.
I mean, how hard would it be to just take this recording and digitize the sound from that?
Oh, not that hard, but it would be wrong.
Why would it be wrong?
It'd also take a lot more memory than the original routine probably took.
Oh, because you had generated.
You have to keep all the samples.
Yeah.
I guess
you could do that to figure out what the waveform looks like and then try to duplicate it in software afterwards.
Well, it's pretty obvious that it's a descending pitch. There's no attack, there's no decay, and there's no amplitude change. So it's just, it should be pretty simple, but I keep trying to write that routine, and it keeps not happening.
Nick, any thoughts?
No.
Maybe I should do OS9.
Well, I mean...
Don't get so technical, Nick.
So to me, it looks like you have basically recreated the game with just minor subtle differences in some of the audio.
Oh, yeah. And in the gameplay.
Yeah, I love this picture
There's
here.
just no way I could get that exactly the same.
Now, John
Carlos
Linville's
Camacho
saying
puts
that
this up.
if you have the Farfall cartridge, compare the high score sound to the bomb threat sound in questions, because he says that his is pretty close.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's take a look at that. Let's see what I can do here. Cartridge 1, mount file. All right.
And if somebody writes that routine for me, well, they also get bragging rights. But
right,
anybody that's smart enough to write that routine probably has plenty to brag about already.
Right. All right, well, I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do that in MAME right now, so I can't get Farfall going in MAME at the moment. What do you got to do to get a cartridge going? I've got a cartridge installed. Farfall CCC is mounted here. And then is it a hard reset?
Yeah, try that. If that doesn't work, you can try manually executing it too.
Okay, what's the address to do that?
Exec ampersand HC000.
How many zeros? 3?
3, yeah.
There we go.
He has that just on the top of his head.
All right, so tell me if you... Tell me if you guys can see this.
I'm getting there.
Okay, so do you see Farfall?
There, we got it. Yep.
So beautiful.
Right. Now let me see if I can share sound again so you guys can hear it. All right, so what sound did John say is going to be the one?
High score.
High score sound and bomb threat.
It's a good thing that Farfall starts over with score 0, otherwise Steve would never be able to hear that.
I was gonna say.
All right, let's try this again. I love the music. Da, 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 do, 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 do. This is how we play the Farfall game. Da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da, do. How many points do I need to get a high score?
You already got it.
I already got it?
Yep, you already have it.
All right, let's burn, baby, burn. Close. You guys hear that?
Yeah. Mine is more pure. That one, sort of modulated a bit.
But it is similar in the kind of a rise and fall in the sound, huh?
My sound
that
routines
code
were
might be a
never
good
very
base, though.
complicated. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. I ought to be able to write the dang thing, but I just don't seem to be able to figure it out. I keep writing all these sound routines that make no sound whatsoever.
So they're just routines.
Yeah.
They're well commented, though.
They're silence routines. Have you heard my latest silence routine?
It's absolutely silent.
You should hear the purity of the silence. It almost sounds like birds
Hello,
chirping.
darkness, my old friend.
That is something else. Oh, so John says the rough sound is from it not constantly making sound. So
gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there you go. That's something there. All right, so Tandy Assembly is definitely shaping up. That's looking good. Anything big and exciting going on in the mailing list this week that you guys can recall?
Man, it's pretty quiet this week, actually.
Oh, well, speaking of that, but we're going to save this. I don't want to steal the thunder. Well, there's one topic, and I'll just, says John's here. And John, if you want to call us on Skype, you just call me on Skype. Call me directly, and I can add you to the call. So where is it? I'm gonna share this, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this out there, but we'll reserve comment. We'll let Mr. Linville himself comment on this. But if you recall, there is one topic on here, and I love this is the heading of the email. Linville's ramblings on assembly versus machine code. So the ramblings of a madman. What is this heresy, you say, of assembly versus machine code? So it's amazing what gets the mailing list worked up. Look how many freaking replies we have to this thing so far. So now I will say, because I don't fully understand assembly, I've been reading a lot of this, and I'm actually picking up and learning little tiny things. So it has not been a complete exercise in futility. Some people are actually giving really good examples of how if you look at the machine code and look at the byte values, I don't know, they're saying it better than I can say it. I kind of see the strengths and weaknesses of them both. But it's just amazing to me what will get this list going.
It's 89.
Whereas when I posted today,
okay over there?
Who was Rick talking to?
Bob who?
So when I post about CoCoTALK, I get 0 replies. But when somebody wants to comment on John Linville's ramblings, we get 99.9 replies on that. So very interesting what gets people work up. Yes.
And John said he's saving his response for the podcast.
Right.
So
yes, and that's why I figured we should probably too.
I am, but I'm not. I've got myself muted right now.
No, you're not muted. You're not muted, Rick.
Oh.
So that's okay.
So I'm not okay.
Yeah, put me down for 4 shares of that too. So, and get my stockbroker on the phone. Yeah, so that was one of the hot topics
it's
today.
That stupid Stevie again. Yeah.
What a lame player that guy is.
Yes. Okay. So that if anything, that was the hot topic this week on the mailing list was Linville's ramblings. So we will definitely wait for the next episode of the CoCo Crew podcast for the rebuttal there. That should be interesting.
I guess the good side of that is that people are actually watching the
listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Now, I will say here, Mateo, because this is, again, talking about full circle. So Mateo has been mentioned on the podcast, how he's thrown out programs. Mateo is the one that, Mark, you helped pimp out a CoCo for him and send it to him?
Yep, CoCo 2.
And he's out in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so he is now very busy recording videos, too. So it's like I now need to find a new line of work because we have a new CoCo video guy out there just cranking stuff out. So he's putting all these, so here's some of his programs. He's making a bunch of different demo programs. He also made the piano player too, right?
Yeah, he did.
Which I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but I love seeing little videos like this where you just see the CoCo stuff. Now, one thing it would be nice because he says he's playing this in XRoar. Since we now have the speech sound pack emulated in MAME, it'd be this is one of the games that really took advantage of that. And I don't like to get into emulator battles. I don't like to get into a pissing contest, and I don't want to overinflate one or disparage another. I do happen to like XRoar a lot, but I tried demoing Rick's game in XRoar, and I did notice there was a lot of background scratchy noise that was happening all the time, almost like it's pulling in data from the DAC or something like that. So there's this constant background humming sound that I got in XRoar that I didn't get in MAME. So in order to demo this, MAME was the better choice. And I don't know what attributes that.
Is it doing anything with joysticks?
Yeah, it's doing stuff with joysticks, yeah. And Rick would have to answer that the best.
The DAC and check joysticks can generate a click.
Yeah. It just seemed to be, because I was going to show it on a real computer, and my computer literally died an hour before the show, so I had to scramble to find a way to show this off. The first one I tried actually was XRoar because I love the new artifacting mode. The simulated artifacting mode looks really good, but the sound, the background sound was distracting for me.
So the last time we discussed this, Nick, you mentioned that, and you mentioned something specific about, what to do to prevent that from happening. And I went in and made that change. I don't remember what it was, but I remember addressing that. So theoretically, that shouldn't be a problem.
Right. Well, I'll get out. I'm going to have to dip into my reserve hardware at this point, and I'll pull out a different CoCo and I'll run it on that. I will run it on a real CoCo, but I just didn't have time to do all that before today's show. I don't suspect we'll hear the sound on the CoCo, but if we hear it on a real CoCo, then XRoar is actually emulating the hardware properly. So Mateo's been busy with videos, and I love the one from Ed Snyder, where Ed showed off the waveforms in the
oscilloscope, I think.
In the oscilloscope, yeah. I love this kind of music here. We had this a couple weeks ago talking about this. Can you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, if we can get the CoCo to do that type of display while the music's playing, and I'm sure Simon Jonasson probably can, that would be cool, having nice visuals to match the audios. Cool stuff. So yeah, here's the most recent video from Bruce Moore's clip of Forest of Doom, loading up some semi-graphics in the screen. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing from Bruce when that's ready. Another candidate for a cartridge. The good news is anything can be on a cartridge these days. So why not? Because CoCo, right? So We definitely should. King's Quest. We had a nice discussion about King's Quest on here too. Showing off King's Quest on an RGB monitor, and he brought up the fact that he had to switch it to composite, and then I just shared with you what I remember Curtis telling about, where you could do the -R, Sierra -R, when you launch it from OS 9 to force it into RGB mode.
Yep.
Now here's a happy moment here. So I just received my CoCo SDC. The joy I feel right now cannot be expressed in words, and it's so hard to imagine. Like, if you haven't used one in a long time, that first moment when you get your hands on it and you're playing the real stuff, it is pretty thrilling, And what if you had to pick a game to put on a real CoCo, Dungeons of Dagger's not a bad one to play,
Yep.
So.
It was the first one I put on my SDC.
Yeah. It's like your must-have games, right? So another thing that I reached out to, let me find the Dragon group here real quick, too, because we do need to start including Dragon, too. Some stuff going on in Dragon. You see some eBay listings for Dragons. I put out a message asking people to suggest some Dragon games to play, because I want to start doing some Dragon videos. And so I did get some suggestions here. Some of them I kind of know from the CoCo, but like Touchstone, I'm not sure if I've played that one. I have not played Chucky Egg. I don't know that I've played Talking Android Attack. Not sure I played The Ring of Darkness. So there's a few there. Shaolin Warrior, not quite familiar with that one. Hungry Horus, Lionheart, Cosmic Crusader. So I got a few suggestions on some Dragon games to play. So I'm looking forward to some of my next CoCo videos being Dragon videos too, because I have a real dragon I haven't even taken out of the box yet. So I definitely want to look forward to playing some of those.
And they had some pretty unique games.
Yeah. Like the one we looked at the other day, that was that 360-degree one where you flew around over the scenery and you shot at stuff and everything. That was pretty impressive. Yep. Here's what Donkey King on cassette looks like for the Dragon. That's pretty cool, the artwork. So there's stuff going on in the I just recently joined the Dragon Facebook group too, so they seem to be pretty active too. So I definitely want to try to represent our European brothers and sisters as well with CoCoTALK. So hopefully we'll get some more people from the UK on future calls too, to talk about more projects and stuff too. Everybody's got an open invitation to talk about whatever it is they got going on. Love to hear about it.
Also, just a note for Rick there, Ciaran has been putting up a post of source code and a sample file of a sound that he said sounds pretty similar.
Okay.
Who did that?
Karen.
Or is that how you pronounce it? Sorry.
Karen, creator of X-Roar and Dungeons.
It sounded like a square wave, so I just hacked together something. I didn't hear the video for long enough, so it might be completely wrong. But
okay. So where is that?
It's in the Skype chat. He put it in the Skype chat.
Oh, in Skype chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll find that later then.
It looks like it's called Pew Pew Bin. Pew 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 Pew. Pew Pew. An appropriate name.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting Dragon games to see. Like there's that Spy vs. Spy, though. I don't know if that one was completed or not. I can't remember. Impossible, which has digitized speech. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it seems like every time High Retro Game Lord was releasing a new video, we would see one on there that neither one of us had heard of before too. So there was what was that one we looked at a while ago, Curtis? That was kind of like a really cool Pac-Man maze type game, but it was a lot more complex.
Oh wow! What was that called? I can't remember.
Yeah. So it's just I remember when I started doing color computer videos, I thought I might reach 100. I didn't realize how many games actually existed. So I thought if I start this journey, if I made it to 100 videos, that would be a pretty cool milestone. And lo and behold, I'm just shy of 200 videos. And we haven't scratched the surface on CoCo games and nowhere near even touched the Dragon games yet. So it's probably easy to say there's probably 600 to 800 games already in existence for these.
I would say 1,000.
1,000. It's amazing. Yeah, I'll never have time to play them all.
Dragon game?
What's that?
Sorry, was the Pac-Man game you're referring to on the Dragon then?
Yeah, on the Dragon, and it was like a very cool maze type game. I forgot what it was called, but you kept like moving to different parts of the maze when you went through the tunnels and stuff, and it seemed like Pac-Man, but it was also a little bit more complex than that.
Not ringing a bell.
Yeah, we came across it once on a video, and we looked at it.
I have to find the video again. I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay, Davey Mitchell says Ring and Cosmic are favorites of mine, and he says favorites, so he's got the U in there, so it's the proper British way of saying favorites.
The real spelling, just like we do in Canada.
the proper spelling, color.
Only the American.
Have you used your color computer today? Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
I just want to hear you do the French Canadian version.
What's that?
Well, I have no idea. I don't speak French.
Okay. Les couleurs.
Color Computer, something like that.
Airball for the win, 60 says. That's Ciaran. Okay, so yeah, we need to get a list of the must-play Dragon games, and I'm definitely going to start featuring some Dragon gameplay videos as well. And maybe it's time to bust the Dragon out. Take it out
you got
of
the
the
original
box.
joysticks too, which are a bit different than the CoCos.
I have the original Dragon joysticks. They're right behind me. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Besides CoCo video. So yeah, I wanted to do a proper video on the Pac-Man transcode. Of course, that's now going to be delayed because my 512K CoCo needs attention. That's on the drawing board. And I got to get one of these things working before Tandy assembly. I don't want to be having to wait for it to be repaired while I'm there. So I got my work cut out for me.
Yep.
All right, so definitely we still have on our docket to do an OS 9 expose CoCoTALK. Maybe we can get that going between now and next weekend. Well, to be determined. I think it's definitely worth talking about and shedding some light on because I'm not alone and not really having a lot of experience with it, and just kind of being interesting to demystify what does it take to get it running. Right, and it's probably worth doing a quick look at level 1 for the CoCo 1 and 2. Take a look at level 2, the original ones for the CoCo 3, and then jump into Nitrous 9.
Yep.
And just look at some of the differences. But yeah, what I'm going to need help with is not only knowing where to go to get these images to mount, but really how do I use them? And ideally, doesn't it make sense to do a virtual hard drive to show off OS 9 properly?
Oh, that helps a lot.
Yeah, so we'll have to. I need to lean on you guys a little bit to get some assistance in getting these things set up and tested before we go live with it. But I really would like to have a little OS 9 virtual hard drive I could boot up at some point in time and just play with and start to become familiar with. If you guys are able to create one in advance and just send it over to me in the link, that would be helpful too. So I don't have to build a boot disk and all this other kind of stuff. So.
If Bill or David or Alan can do that, I mean, mine right now has got a lot of stuff from work on it because I was restoring disks, just trying to find missing software. But some of that stuff was, owned by them, so I don't want to distribute that around.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I've got
But I think yours is clean, right, Bill?
Mine's pretty much clean, except for there's a couple of folders there with Rick's stuff in it for Shanghai and Bob's threat that he sent me, which I think I'm going to remove before I send it. But
okay.
Yeah, because I think most of us set up a 128 meg, virtual disk on the CoCo SDC, and it runs really nice.
Okay. Sounds good. The birds sound good too.
Yeah. I know. I got a swarm of blackbirds up there that keep circling the house.
Man,
you got to hide the bodies better.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else we need to talk about this week? Have we beat this one to death? Are we going to do a short CoCoTALK for a change?
Now, John and them are going to give us heck for having a short show.
We beat this one to death.
What's wrong if the viewer count is down at the end of the next week?
Yes. Well,
to be honest, it's summer. I mean, we're going to have less to talk about because people are taking summer holidays and
that's true.
Busy with the kids and that kind of stuff too. So I expect we'll have shorter shows over summer.
I was wondering, just a thought of kind of throw out there, see what everybody thought about, but I was considering kind of using a community sourced, I guess, project where we could have small routines written by community members in assembly, and then post them somewhere, something like maybe GitHub, and so that it would be available to anyone from the community who want to use those either as is, or to use as a basis for what they need for what they're doing, and hopefully it would help people move on more in using programming games and such for the CoCo, for OS 9, whatever we want to use those for. And I didn't know if that's something people would be willing to support, because obviously there's some things I can do in assembly, but I'm new to it myself. But I thought it'd be something that'd be nice to have out there.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you have to set up documentation for them too, like what are entry parameters, how do you have to set up your data for it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that would be, like I said, I know a lot of people with real life don't have the time to program an entire game, but may be able to put forth a routine, whether it be keyboard, video, joysticks, whatever type of general things are needed for developing a game.
What's the name of that game engine that was released? No one's used that yet.
Oh, that Sprite Library one? I know somebody had released one.
Is it the one you were talking about before, Curtis? That was like a Sundog thing, whereas
no, that's different. Somebody had released a Sprite library for the CoCo 3 just a couple of years ago, or within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What I was talking about was the Graph Express, which is an add-on for BASIC to do like windowing and faster sprites type stuff and multi-voice sound, etc.
Yeah, so no one's picked up on that game engine yet, so
yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not looking I don't know, maybe you guys have more experience than I do, but I'm not really thinking of necessarily a game engine that would be used as whole, but more as individual routines that can be either used or tweaked in a existing or to be existing program.
Like just sharing code snippets.
It's called Dynasprite. That was the
Dynasprite. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of
framework.
Yeah, I'm just looking for even like I said, like say let's just say somebody decides to write. I'm going to write a routine to be posted to the repository that allows somebody to check for a keyboard press or multiple keyboard presses, and that's all that routine would do. But it would allow somebody to either, like I said, use that, like Curtis says, whatever your setup might need to be for that, but then be able to use that in a program to perform that function.
Yeah, kind of like a set of libraries or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something like that, like I said, is very open, but, performs the function of whatever it's intended to do.
Nick, you probably looked at Dynasprite more than I have, because I haven't looked at it at all, but... No. Is it set up that same way? Like, is it like here's?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at it myself.
Okay. Because I thought his plan was to try to make it in such a way that you could just use pieces of it if you wanted to. It's like this might be a good start of the project.
That's what I thought it was, but I haven't even looked at it.
Because I don't know if he has joystick routines and keyboard and sound routines, or if it's just sprite and graphics related stuff, or what exactly.
Anyone got a link to the site?
I think it's on one of the repository sites, either GitHub, because I think I might have come across that in the past, but I really never looked at it that closely.
Because to be honest, if they don't have documentation, it doesn't matter who's doing it; it's not going to be successful.
Yeah,
William
I
Carlin
agree.
says it came out in February 2015, but I'm not sure where you would get that from. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. That was Jason who suggested that, right?
Jay, yes.
Jay. That was Jay. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know how many people would actively contribute to that, but it doesn't hurt to ask and just get it started.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. I mean, I'm willing to host it on my GitHub. Not that I have a huge GitHub, but I would be willing to do that and kind of curate it and that sort of thing. I did find
this one's on Dynasprite is on GitHub.
Yeah, I just found it as well, Curtis. It's Richard42 Dynasprite. If you search for it on Google, it will come up. It's like the second or third link that I got.
If you get a chance, somebody put it in either the Skype chat or the. There you go. Curtis just did. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. That way, other people can get to it as well. Good. No, it's a good idea. Code sharing is a good thing. if it can help other people. I know, and it would be nice if he could have been with us today too, but John Strong has mentioned too, at some point in time, he does want to make some of his tools available, because he writes his own tools that do all his sprite creations and turn, like he'll draw his sprite and then press a button and have it write out the assembly code to make the compiled sprites, and he's got tile editors. So John's got tools that he works on quite a bit, and it'd be nice if some of those could be shared out too, just to help speed up development.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, tools obviously are, especially if it's I'm assuming some sort of cross-platform tool that we could use. That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Looks like Dynasprite's got some documentation, and he's got some demos and.
Did you put that link up? Did you?
Yeah, it's in the YouTube chat.
So it should show up in the green on the left side of the screen too.
Rudy Kazuti says, "I'm a Stroco nut." Hey, Rudy. Rudy is in. Where did you say you were in Ireland too? Rudy says he has a hard time making these live because of the time difference. Welcome live, Rudy. Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. And as you know, when I start to dip my feet into that pool as well, other resources will be helpful for me because I'm starting from ground zero.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my intent of this whole thing is, if everybody's starting from ground zero, not only is it a big learning curve, but also just a time investment. Whereas if there's already been a routine for, say, like I said, for reading keyboard that's already been optimized and is pretty much ready to go, that saves. Beyond your learning how it actually works, it saves all that time of development. So
right.
It might be worthwhile looking at Dynasprite then, because looks like he's got a fair bit in here already.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at that if I get a chance this week and see what's in there.
And then Steve, I think we should probably cover GraphExpress for the basic programmer, because that's a game library for the CoCo 3 that you call from basic. You don't have to know any assembly language to use it, but it'll give you more assembly language speed on the games.
Right. All right. Well, so we know we still have OS 9 on the horizon, and Bill, I'll try to harass you throughout the week to see if you can send me something. But in addition to OS 9, do we have any suggestions or topics we can try to talk about next week?
I hear birds chirping. That means no.
Okay.
Well,
good.
Sounds like between OS 9 and graphics and like you said,
supplement.
And maybe, sorry, I was gonna say maybe we can get. Maybe I'll make an attempt to get a hold of this person who did the Dino Sprite and see if they'd be willing to come on and talk about it a little bit.
I wonder if that's William Carlin.
It's the guy who posted it said Richard. It says Richard 42 is what the username is. I'm not sure who that is in real life, but
okay. Gotcha. Well, I may or may not have a hardware story to share by next weekend too, by me trying to figure out what's wrong with my CoCos and what I got to do to get them running again. Which reminds me,
to see,
Richard, I will go ahead and I'll just put it in a Skype chat now. I don't care who sees it.
Richard Godekin. I don't know if I'm not pronouncing that right, but that's the guy's name.
Okay.
All right, so I just put my address out there in our little Skype chat there. So anybody else wants to send me processors or gimmies or anything else while you're at it too, just feel free to mail them my way.
There's Steve. Gimme. That's all he
gimme, right?
It's hard to send you with the Patreon account.
Right. Richard. Okay, so James Ross just says his name is Richard Godekin.
Yeah, I was guessing at that myself.
Godekin or whatever.
He isn't in the Facebook group, is he?
Far out. All right, well, have we done enough rambling then? Since we've already talked about John Linville's ramblings, we've done our ramblings. Maybe there's enough rambling for one day. Maybe we have beat this one to death. I'll never get tired of using that phrase.
One thing in here that you may want to just do a quick read. It's a post to Atari Age, where Richard announced it and kind of gives you a nice summary of what it's capable of doing.
Put the link out there and I'll pull it up.
You want it in YouTube or in?
Put it in YouTube. That way other people can see it too. And then I'll pull it up.
And this was an announcement from December of 2014.
Okay. So, Atari Age. Here's the article. Tandy Color 3, new game engine called Dino Sprite and Demo by Richard42. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am proud to announce the completion of the release of Dino Sprite Demo 2, which shows off the game engine I've been working on for the past year and a half. This is the final demo that I intend to release, as the engine is now at a stage of completion where it can be reasonably used for an entire game as is. My plan for the near future is to start working on a game with this engine. Before I get into the details, here's a link to the demo. Now, here's the actual Sprite demo. The engine isn't suitable for every type of game. I've made design decisions which open some doors but close others. It's quite useful for a few game styles, though. Some potential ideas I think map very well to the capabilities are side-scrolling games like R-Type, Silkworm, and Super Cobra, platforming like Super Mario Brothers, Wonder Boy, Pitfall 2, Mega Man. Wow, these are a good lineup here, right? Top-scrolling like Ikari Warriors, Alien Syndrome, and Time Pilot. Beat-em-up games like Double Dragon, which he says actually ran on a 6809, and Final Fight, top-down racing, and isometric games like Marble Maze and Zaxxon. Dude, that's a great little lineup right there, huh? Core engine only takes up 2 pages of code and data, but there are a lot of features. You have 320 by 216 color graphics modes. The background graphics are tile mapped with 16 by 16 tiles. Vertical and horizontal scrolling are supported with starting positions, granularity of 1 row vertical and 2 pixels, 1 byte horizontal. That's pretty good, huh? So smooth scrolling. I spent a lot of time optimizing most of the CPU-intensive part of the code for the Hitachi 6309 processor. The compiled sprite code is different for the 6309. Wow.
Yeah, and some of the speed increases he's got on some of those for the 609 version is pretty interesting, too.
So there's the GitHub link. Now, can I...
And you posted that where, Steve?
It's in the YouTube chat.
YouTube chat, okay.
Yeah. Very cool. I wonder how hard this is going to be for me to try to load up the demo real quick. I'll actually
That's what I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
haven't actually seen the demo, so this would be interesting to me too.
Okay. So I'm going to save the demo here real quick. And let's see what we get. Is it a bin file? Is it a... Okay, there are 2 different disk files. So there's a 6309 disk. So I'll bring up MAME as a 6309 CoCo.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I actually have never seen this run. I just kept hearing about it.
It's quite
good. It says it has built-in support for keyboard and joystick control, RGB and composite colors, the 6-bit DAC, the Orchestra 90 if you want to do sampled sound up in stereo, splash image loader, main menu background, sprites. Sounds pretty complete.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I had found this a while ago, and I just I guess I never really looked at it.
All right, so we're going to try to load this in right now. And we're going to go to the desktop, and we're going to go to Dino Sprite Demo 2, and we're going to do the 6309 disk version of this. Do I still have media sound sharing on?
I don't know.
Not here in your disk drive, so I'm going to say no.
So let's run README and see what this says here.
Oh, the README saved in ASCII.
All right, Dino Sprite Demo 2, Bubbles in a Box. Okay. Arrows to move, break to quit. You are free to use and copy this program provided that is... okay. This is a graphics, sound, and physical demo to show the capabilities of the Dino Sprite program. It requires a 512 CoCo 3 play, a keyboard, a joystick. Move from joystick to... Okay. All right. Let's just try it then, shall we?
Sure.
Break to quit. So we're going to load... That involved a whole lot of reading there. I just don't have time for that. All right.
And we know that's not Steve's strong point.
I was like, oh, blah, 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 words.
Where's the pretty pictures?
Yes.
That's pretty well it.
No, self-executing. me make sure I'm sharing sound here. I am sharing the sound. Okay. Monitor is composite. All right, I need to do something here because this is a bigger screen. Hold on 1 second here. All right, so I'm going to press M. Wow, the colors look pretty good on this. Can you guys see it all right?
That looks good there, yep.
All right, so I'm going to press M. Oops, I just hit composite. I didn't want to do that.
Yep, I think you started it.
All right. I clicked on it with my mouse, and I wanted to hit something else. I wanted to change it to RGB. All right, bubbles in a box demo. Well, I guess even the colors are off. We'll get an idea, right? Oh, look at this. Can you guys hear it?
No.
Nope. Hear that?
I hear some kind of clicking. Is that it?
Yeah.
Like a bouncing ball sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually looks pretty good. I mean, as far as the colors and everything, it looks nice.
Demo sprite 2, bubbles in a box loading. If this is the same demo, I'll run it again with
RGB.
With the RGB colors. Yeah. Yeah, the smooth scrolling's pretty good.
Definitely.
And it has looks like it has transitions and stuff, which are pretty cool. Yeah.
Dino Sprite demo. Okay, I guess that is the demo.
Yeah, just keeps running in a loop. It looks like.
Okay, it's not a bad demo.
Nah.
So let me break out of it.
Yeah, because it looks like there's some cross dissolves and stuff built in. And...
Yeah. You're probably gonna have to do a hard reset, I'm guessing, Steve.
There we go. Oh, I can switch. There we go. I just switched emulation to composite.
So we were seeing RB then, you think?
Well, now I've just switched the MAME to running composite mode, so it's matching the palettes.
Gotcha.
That looks pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not bad. Yeah, and the sounds kind of sound like billiard balls clacking into each other. Yeah, and you can see there's
and the fact that it has
different-
Orchestra 90 support's cool too.
Yeah, so there's you can see the different sprite masking. So there's a solid black ball. There is a translucent ball that's got the clear
Does
through
the
it.
background move?
It did. It had scrolled before.
It scrolled all the way to the left and then stopped.
I can actually scroll it with my joystick.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this! Now I'm moving.
Oh,
my
and then
joystick.
it bounces the ball around. So the edges of the screen are what are moving the ball. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I'm moving my joystick around and I'm
You're going up
steering.
now as well?
Yeah, diagonal.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so there is apparently there's a border to it. So there's an end to the level. But yeah, so I guess, and they're not. There's no logic in here like where it's bouncing off of things. They're completely foreground objects. But they're
some
moving.
Some of the balls are hitting each other, but some are going through other ones, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, so collision detection and collision ignorance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's neat. It's pretty smooth, so it's hardware scrolling.
And that's in OS 9, is it?
Of course. In 64K too.
Level 1.
Can't wait for the level 2 version.
No, I'm glad you guys brought this up. This is kind of what I've been looking to put together, but it looks like he's done a lot of the work already.
There you go. The heavy lifting has been done.
Cool.
And he has it documented, which is nice too.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Like I said, I remember finding it before, but for whatever reason, I never really looked into it. I'm not sure why.
The Atari Age article has somebody else named Rem Z that also had written a.
Oh, he's written a few demos.
Yeah.
Demos based on this framework or just in general?
No, Remzi did a couple of his own demos. He actually has a 3D ray trace program that's actually more advanced than Sockmaster's.
Yeah,
as well as he had the Mario style one where he had scrolling horizontal with circles and stuff flying around, and he's got a bunch of YouTube videos that actually show some of his demos, and I've actually downloaded the disc images, so they're real. Let's see if I can find his page.
There's actually a link at the bottom of the Atari Age article for Richard's stuff.
For the downloads or for the video demos?
There's a video, one video on YouTube, and a link to his Google site.
Yeah, because Steve, if you haven't seen his stuff, it's pretty impressive. He's the CoCo SID player too, the one that plays the Commodore 64 sound chip stuff.
Right. So let's do this one here. Yeah. So yeah, I think I've seen this before. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like a Mario World type thing here. That's very smooth.
Yeah, and if you click his name, the REM-Z part there, you can see his other videos for the CoCo, and then you can see like his 3D ray tracing with textures.
Look at that. There's animation. So you've got a rotating coin, crazy. And the question marks are animated. The bricks are glistening. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
But you should take a look at some of his other CoCo stuff. He's got some pretty impressive stuff in there.
Right. Moon demo in the CoCo 3?
No, that's one of Sockmasters.
Okay.
That's his SID player for playing Commodore 64 sound using the DAC.
CoCo SID as in it's trying to emulate what the Commodore 64 did?
Yeah.
Not bad. Let's leave a comment here, so yeah. Yeah, what else do you got?
Yeah, if you click on his uploads, click the uploads, the link itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see his CoCo 3 texture mapping demo, for example.
Okay, real-time scaling demo, texture mapping demo, yeah. Wolfenstein-style demo on the CoCo 3. Is that showing off Sockmasters?
No, that's his, and it's more advanced than Sockmasters because it allows you to tilt up and down. He fixed the fisheye lens distortion.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Now, I should tell you that the sound doesn't actually play in the background of this demo. This is a CPU-intensive demo.
Yeah.
And this is 6809, no 609 required.
Not bad.
He's texture mapping the ceilings and the walls.
Yeah.
And if you run his Castle Wolfenstein one where he's not doing the texture mapping, but he's fixed the fisheye.
Yeah. Wow, this thing goes on for a while. Let's look at the other one. That is pretty cool. All right, so the other one is which one now? The full screen.
Take your pick.
And then we'll look at the Wolfenstein one.
This one shows real-time scaling, which you're controlling with the joystick. Scaling graphics up and down, left and right.
You see him loading it up off of floppy.
Old school.
Neil Blanchard would appreciate that.
Yeah. And these are all available for download. I actually have most of these.
Wow, there's Wario, huh? The evil Mario. Wow. So you can stretch them out. Look how fast and smooth that is. That's
I know
really
Nick and I
impressive.
discussed. We really wish he would have finished the game because he's a pretty darn good programmer. He can make some pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Very cool.
And Wolfenstein is kind of like Gloom 3, I guess you'd call it, because it's a more advanced version of the Gloom style engine.
Okay. Bruce Moore is finally calling in.
So you notice you got sharp edges, which the original Stockmaster one did not, because he fixed the fisheye distortion. I don't think he's doing page flipping here, which is why you're getting a bit of the ripping and tearing. But you can also see he can tilt up and down, just like the old PC games.
Point of view. Hey, Bruce.
And the speed's pretty good.
Yeah. Speed is good.
Plus, you got the sliding left and right instead of just turning and running.
And the strafing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. I think a sequel to Gate Crashers is in order.
Yeah, get on it, Nick.
Very nice.
We want the text map version, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was full sound.
The bar is
neat. That is neat. Yeah. Very cool. All right, well, I'll leave him some comments offline and see if he wants to ever join us on a CoCoTALk.
Yeah, I'd love him to go through and explain the engine. Like I said,
Very cool.
But even explaining how he got some of his routines to work at the speeds he did.
Right. Bruce, are you with us? All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up CoCoTALK this week. We'll have more to talk about next week. We can't talk about everything because then there'd be nothing left to talk about, right? So we got to save some for next week. But Rick Adams, thank you so much for being our guest of honor and showing us our world premiere of Bomb Threat. Fantastic looking game. I really enjoyed playing it. I hope everybody enjoyed watching it. And I wish you sell tens of 20s of hundreds of thousands of units of this game here because it is worthy of a global appreciation.
It's definitely one of the few that was actually originated way back in the day, and it's just finally being brought out. So
Right.
see the light of day.
Yes. So Bruce, are you here?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, yeah. It looks like I caught the very last minute, eh?
You caught the last minute, eh?
Hey, in Canada.
Will you have more time next week? Because I'd rather give you more time than rush something in at the end here.
Oh, no problem. Just hey, I'll catch the replay.
But do you mention you might wanted to make an announcement about Forest of Doom though?
No. I was just saying on that CoCoTALK that all I was saying was I'm officially feature complete. No more new stuff. I want to get it out the door.
Okay, and you're still working on it.
Now.
Okay.
The spec has been frozen.
Exactly.
Now the hard part starts, trying to tweak it all.
Yeah.
Yes, but will he get his bonuses?
Make a deadline.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Thanks a lot.
Okay, good. Well, hopefully we'll have you on next week too when you got more time to join us.
Sure.
Cool. All right, well, let's wrap up this week's CoCoTALK. We've definitely beat this one to death, and we'll do it again. So yeah, Rick, thank you so much for letting us see Bomb Threat. It's fantastic, and thank you everybody for being here. Grant and Mark and Jay and Bill and Curtis and Nick and Bruce and Karen. And everybody else who's been with us in the chat, like James Ross and Richard Lorbieski and Rudy Kazuti, and who else was in chat here earlier? William Carlin was here. The great John Linville and his ramblings were here earlier. Who else was in the chat here today? First Last was here in the chat. And who else was in the chat? Bosco, Steve Bamford was here. Davey Mitchell was here. Glenn Hewlett was here. Orange Fire Simon stopped by. Paco Otacte stopped by too. Drencor, huh? Well, I gotta go. Hope everyone has fun. Back to work. And Davey Mitchell, Richard, Mark Overholser. Was it? Yeah, and Davey was the first one in chat today too. So thanks for being the first one in. And speaking of Paco Otacte, he's saying hello everyone. Or And then Rudy Kazuti says, with such great talent pool, I bet you guys could have some fun and come up with something good by passing some code around the group like Chinese whispers. It would be a cool reveal at CoCo Fest. Are you guys familiar with that concept where everybody adds something to the code and pass it around?
Nah, I don't think I've heard of it.
Nah. Well, we can talk about that next week. All right, guys. We're going to wrap up CoCoTALK. Thank you, everybody who watched, and make sure you tune in next week as well. Yeah, Drencor Lad Otakte says, of course I show up at the end. Yes, you did. All right, David. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. And remember, you may only be young once, but you can be retro forever. And tune in next week for more talk about the CoCo, the MC-10, the Dragon, and all other cool things. Until then, CoCo forever. Bye-bye, everybody.